Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am just so excited to be back. It feels so good to be sitting here recording this video with you guys. So, how are we? I'm trying to get over the casualties. Not the casualties, sorry, the formalities. I'm trying to get over the formalities. I feel like I haven't sat down in a long time. For you, it may not feel like that because you guys have been watching pretty up to date, but I just haven't filmed in a while. I recently just came back from a trip. I went to Iceland. I'm gonna post a video about it. I have to. I brought my little camcorder, so I'm really excited. I'm gonna post a video about it. I just have to, I literally just, this is the day, I just got back yesterday. So, I'm still, compiling shit. I'm still, airdropping, moving files around. Okay, so for today's video, I figured we should get to know each other. I feel like y'all don't really know me, not on YouTube at least. So there's a lot more getting to know each other that we could probably do. And for starters, who am I? What the fuck do I do? You know what I'm saying? I came on here and immediately just started talking about shit, and I feel like, okay, give us a little context. So this video here is actually the context for me. But anyway, so yeah, let's get into it. So today I decided why not just talk about my writing process. If you didn't know, I'm a writer, an aspiring writer, a writer. I go back and forth on which one to say, and it just depends on how much imposter syndrome I have that day. But I feel like to best understand where I'm at now, why this YouTube channel has even been created, I think it's important to know my writing journey and how I got to where I'm at right now, which is not really that far. You'll see. It's not that far, but we're somewhere and we're getting somewhere. So for starters, I wasn't always a writer. I feel like I was a reader before I was a writer. I feel like all good writers are good readers. It's very hard for me to imagine a world in which you don't enjoy reading, but you enjoy writing. Or, I don't know, it could be possible, but I personally feel like all good writers are good readers. I grew up, and me and my librarian, she knows. We were like this. I feel like because of reading, I became a smarter person, and I feel like everyone knows the benefits of reading. We all know the benefits of reading, but I feel like the reason why I even have the vocabulary I have, understand the use of metaphors and tone, I attribute reading to being the reason why I'm good at writing, 100%. I wouldn't have or understand or appreciate had it not been for my love of reading and watching the way authors play with words and concepts and idea to make you feel a certain way or to make you understand something better. That to me was always interesting. I personally never thought that I would write. I didn't think that that was a skill that I had. All this to say, I never really considered myself a writer growing up. In regards to words, the extent of my love for it was reading. I was good at writing. People complimented it whenever I wrote papers and things like that, but I really didn't deep it. I had an appreciation for writing, but that's about as far as it went. I feel like college is actually where things got kind of interesting for me in regards to writing. College is where I feel like people started noticing that I wrote more, or people didn't notice that I wrote more. I think I just got more compliments on it in college. Something that sticks out to me and was really influential in my journey of becoming a writer was this one singular comment I got, and it was a really huge compliment. Still to this day I think about it and I'm like, wow. So freshman year of college, I had signed up for classes a little too late, and I had to take this one class that was comprised of freshmen, sophomores, juniors, a couple seniors. It was a really big mix of, different grades and classes, whatever. But I was in this class as a freshman, and it was a writing for newspaper, or writing for the news. It was some kind of writing class. I was a comms major in university, by the way, so I had a lot of writing. But I was taking a writing for news class, and we had to write an op-ed for the New York Times, as if we were writing an op-ed for the New York Times. And I remember what I wrote about. I wrote about Colin Kaepernick taking the knee, and besides that, I don't remember what I said. And I remember the next time we got into class, he had already graded it, and he was I did have one paper that I already graded, and he was I just want to project it. Obviously, as you guys know, it was my paper. I was so already so thrilled. There was something about this professor and the way that he taught writing that I really enjoyed. Like, I don't even remember what it was. I wish I remembered. But I remember really looking up to this professor and him using my paper already as like an example as to what to do right already was like a lot. I was like, wow, so touched and honored. And then after class, he had come up to me and was like, I think you should actually submit this as an op-ed. And, you know, me being the little dicky ass freshman, I was like, oh yeah. I'm like, no, thank you, I will. I didn't. Like, I just was just like, I thought he was kind of bullshitting a little bit. I was like, he's probably exaggerating. Like, to me, there was no way that paper could have been that good. But I was like, well, I mean, I appreciated the compliment, but it planted the idea. And that's what I wanted to say about this. Like, that's what's important. It planted the idea. Like, prior to that, I didn't think anything that I ever wrote was good enough for anything. Like, I was like, it's good enough to get an A, like, which is good, but it's not that fucking great. Like, anyone can get an A. Well, I guess not everyone, but you know what I mean. Like, I literally just thought it was good enough to get an A. I feel like that situation made me a little bit more confident. So I feel like 75 hard is actually when things really took a turn for me. That was when I really just started writing for fun, and I was just like, let me just see. You know, it was really just curiosity. I mentioned this in another video, but I was doing 75 hard. I was just bored. I didn't have shit to do all day. I wasn't on social media, so I was like, fuck it, like, I need something to do. Funnily enough, it actually started out, I have a Medium account. I'm gonna actually start mentioning that more on this channel, that I have Medium. How am I gonna have a whole entire channel as a writer and not even tell you guys? Like, I feel like I've barely mentioned it. Can you guys go read my blog? Anyways, I'll save all that to the end. I'll save all that to the end. But anyways, so I was doing 75 hard. I'm sitting around, I'm bored, I didn't have anything to do. So I wasn't taking a lot of classes my spring semester of my senior year of university. And I didn't have a job as well. So I was door dashing at the time. And something that I would do a lot, I remember, is post like a dash or whatever. I would go home and I'd just kind of be sitting in my car, which is what I do all the time. Like, I, for some reason, refuse to come inside. Like, I will sit in my car for an extra hour once I reach to this destination. Like, I'll just sit and I'll be on my phone, I'll be on the phone. But anyways, I would sit in my car and I would just write. I wrote about like, my relationship with touch, and it was just like some shit that I was just sitting in the car thinking about, like, touch. Like, I just thought about it and was like, that's interesting. I just started writing about it. I personally like really liked it. I would read them to my friends and they really liked it. That's really, I didn't deep it. Like, that was really all it was. It was kind of just a hobby. Now, there's a shift between when it was for fun and when I started chasing it professionally. So it's important to note that prior to wanting to become a writer, I kind of thought I would go the social media manager route. Mind you, I hadn't even graduated university yet, but I was gearing up to. And so a lot of people would send me like job offers they knew about of different like positions, like social media manager, social media content specialist, like things like that. And my one friend, I had read her my piece and she was like, oh, you know, I've seen this one like post on Instagram. This one publication is looking for a writer. It's like a writer for social media job. And I was like, wow, like, you know, she showed me their page and they had like quite a few Instagram followers, like quite a bit. Yeah, she was like, they're really looking for somebody. Like, she just saw like the listing and she was like, you should really look into it. I was like, okay, period, like maybe I'll send something in. But you know, at the time, like, I think I had written a total of like 3 pieces. Like, I had written, but I hadn't written that much. They required 2 pieces. I had 3. One that I really liked and was confident about. So I was just like, what am I gonna do? I remember I drove home that night from hanging out with her. So I sat in my car and I wrote down the best drug I've ever taken, and I submitted that along with The Unseriousness of Life, which is like one of my first pieces ever. Listening to Frank Ocean. This is what I mean when I say Frank Ocean really is the best, and he really inspires me. And I really mean it when I say it every fucking time, okay? Anyways, I submitted that piece. When I tell you, there was no part of me that thought that I was getting that position. Like, I submitted it, and like, I was a little nervous about it, but I was just like, whatever. Like, the chances of me getting it to me were very low. Lo and behold, I got the position. And that was the first time I really thought, like, okay, maybe I could do this professionally. And I remember her telling me how much she enjoyed my writing. And I feel like all these little moments of like people instilling all these little confirmations and compliments and things that happen along the way, like, were just like confidence boosters. I think the skill was always there. I think like I just didn't have the confidence. I still don't always have the confidence. And maybe I can make like a separate video about like how I overcome like self-doubt and things like that. But because my good fucking golly, there's a lot of it. We parted ways, but we parted ways, but you know, it's still like it served its purpose and it served its time. And I'm so, you know, when we parted ways, I was so angry about it and I was so upset. Like I was like, there's no way, I suck at this, good fucking bye, I hate this. But wow, I'm so glad I did it. I'm so glad it happened. It just made me an even more confident person. It made me realize like the ability that I had. And then after I parted ways with that job, I ended up graduating university. At this point, like I fully knew that writing was what I wanted to do. And I was fully committed to finding out how I was gonna make it happen. I wasn't sure yet, but I was like, no, like from then the passion really started to grow. I feel like prior to me getting the job for the publication, a lot of it was just compliments, and they were really sweet and endearing, and I really enjoyed it. And I always enjoy a compliment, but I really appreciated like people telling me that they enjoyed like reading my papers in class. And like, you know, I thought like, okay, like these ideas were being planted in my head, but it wasn't ever something that I actively wanted for myself. It wasn't until I started doing the 75 hard and I got that job at that publication that I really realized like, wow, this is actually something that I could see myself doing. Like I genuinely enjoy this. Prior to writing, I had never worked a job, considered a profession, or anything like that I thought like it was something that I could do and expand on for the rest of my life. Like whether or not writing stays at the core of what I do, like being creative in this way to me feels the most fulfilling for me. You know, getting that job and getting that publication, like even though we parted ways, I was still very happy to have gotten it because it made the desire mine. Like I felt like the desire was always other people's. People always saw it in me before I saw it in myself. But I really needed something to see it for myself. And once I did, and I really like allowed myself to enjoy it first prior to even doing it professionally or attempting to do it professionally, it just became all mine. Once I graduated university, I was kind of like floating in between some jobs and floating in between some things, and I really needed to figure out like, what am I gonna do? I knew that I wanted to write professionally. I couldn't figure out how to do it. I couldn't even get myself to write consistently. Like I was averaging like literally like a piece or two a month. Like I was doing terrible in terms of consistency, and so I needed something that was gonna get me writing every single day. So I started a 50-day writing challenge, and I've talked about this again on my channel before, but that 50-day writing challenge, I felt like just kind of changed the game for me in terms of consistency. It made me so consistent. It taught me discipline, and it taught me creativity. Because like the nature of what I would do in that writing challenge is I would have a jar, I would shake the jar, I had topics in the jar like on slips of paper, and I'd open it and just write about the topics. So it made me write better like on a whim. So I learned to like write better, be more consistent, be more disciplined, which I think is like one of the most important things I think in this profession besides reading, and kind of just dicking around. Sometimes I think like people underestimate how important like just dicking around is. Dicking around is important. I think we all need to dick around a little bit more. Yeah, and so I think that leads me to now and where I'm at now. Now I do have a day job. Everything that I'm doing right now is purely on the side and for fun. Kind of for fun, because I'm kind of exploiting my skills for monetary gain. To be honest, hey, honesty. But yeah, like the goal is obviously to make writing my profession. I don't know how I'm gonna make it happen. Like I have no idea. My goal is that I'm consistent in everything that I enjoy doing, and I do it to the best of my ability and prioritize quality and consistency. I have to get somewhere with something, and I know that there are things that exist out there for me that are bigger than I could ever imagine or see. I know that I just have to do my part. So right now, like where I'm at right now in this writing journey, to be frank, I don't know. I really don't. And that's really whatever. I'm just doing my due diligence and doing my part, trying very hard to enjoy the process, to be honest. I am in a place of a lot of uncertainty right now, and I'm like literally I've just been camping out in the unknown for so long. But I'm really learning to like enjoy the process. I'm having a lot of fun. Right now I'm just writing and posting. I have some long-term goals. I am very private about my long-term goals because I do unfortunately believe in evil eye. So I'd like to keep these things to my lonesome. But so it's not like I'm goalless or I'm like just wafting in the unknown with like, you know, like no goal or signpost or motivation or anything ahead of me. Like I have things I'm trying to reach, some short term, some long term. But in terms of like, I don't have like a place I'm at right now in terms of my writing. I'm just in that avenue. I'm wafting a little bit. We're wafting, but we're making things happen. Okay, and yeah, but that's kind of my writing journey. I figured why not just share, and I feel like I've shared enough. I feel like we're all shared out. We're all shared out. So I'll leave you. I'll leave you to process everything I shared, and I'm gonna go process this trip I just came back from. What I shared. Yeah, lots to process here. But anyways, I just want to say before I hop off your top. Okay, I just want to say before I leave, thank you guys so much for watching my videos. I know that like right now I'm at like averaging like 100 views a video. Like, you know, that's not anything to really celebrate just yet. But a part of me can't help but celebrate that there are even people that are watching this right now. That is already so crazy to me. Like, oh my god. Thank you for your boredom. Because, oh, what would I do without it? It is so validating. I love it. Thank you guys for watching my YouTube channel. I hope you guys enjoyed. Please comment whatever you want. Just as long as it's something. Like, I don't even care what you comment. Just make it something. Make it good. Like, that's all I got. Thank you.